The following is an exclusive presentation of the Huskers Radio Network.
The 31st head coach of the University of Nebraska's football program, Mr. Matt Rule.
It's time for Nebraska Cornhuskers football.
They fake the handoff. Chuba keeps it himself. Touchdown!
A new era begins in Husker football.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
I want to build a team that's tough. I want to build a team that's hardworking. I expect our guys to be tough. I expect them to work hard, and I expect them to compete, and I expect that because I and my staff will do the same thing every day.
We'll see if Luke Fickell wants to call timeout. He does not. The kick is sailing. It is up, and it is good. And we're tied at 17. So this is probably just going to be a squib kick, I would imagine. Maybe try to get them to pick it up and exhaust the 4 seconds. He does. He kicks a ground ball. It's going to be picked up. Wisconsin's going to grab it at the 15 to the 20, 25, and tackle to the 30-yard line. We are headed to overtime. Mordecai's going to go gun. Allen on his left, now shifts to the right. Only one wide out. Snap back. They give it off to Braylon Allen. Slams his way to the 2. Still pushing the pile to the 1. Touchdown. Snap back to Purdy. Got to make the first down of the game. Is over. Throws down the field. Passes high. Intercepted. And game's over. Badgers survive. Keep the Freedom Trophy. And Nebraska's ails in overtime continue.
Man, just these ones we got to win. That's really all I can say. These ones we got to win. We got to buckle down on defense and offense on both sides of the ball.
Obviously, everyone's really disappointed with the outcome. Wisconsin's a good football team. They made a few more plays than we did at the end of the game, and we just got to keep that brotherhood that we built all the offseason, all of the season. Just keep that brotherhood and don't let that aspect of things fall apart.
After another heartbreaking defeat, the Huskers must find a way to bounce back and get that 6th victory against rival Iowa.
Chuba gets the shotgun snap, looking to throw. Being blitzed, rolls away from the pressure. Looking upfield, he's going to take off and run. He's got a first down at midfield. 45, Chuba to the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Purdy raises the leg, 1 on the play clock. Just gets the snap off. Back to throw is Chuba. Steps, throws downfield, pass is caught at Wisconsin 35. Bouncing away from the tackler is Jalen Lloyd. He's to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Mordecai in the gun, turns, takes the handoff back to throw. Backpedaling, being rushed, flushed, rolls in the pocket, and then tripped up and dropped by Luke Reimer.
The Hawkeyes come in ranked in the top 25 and looking to take back the Heroes Trophy.
3rd down and 12. What's the play call here from your own 5-yard line? Haddock to throw. He's getting pressured. He's going to go down. Sacked in the end zone. Caleb Johnson, the running back. He's got a hole. Caleb Johnson, right side. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Hawkeyes.
It's Iowa and Nebraska, and it's next here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Back to throw. Pass it time. Steps, throws, pass. Caught by Fedoni for 20. He's to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
It's time for a Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac.
Throws it to the flat. The Kent makes a catch. 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Also brought to you in part by Midwest Ford. Now here's your host, Ben McLaughlin.
Good morning, Husker Nation. One final time here in 2023 at Memorial Stadium. Last home game of the year for the Big Red, and chance to extend their season with a win over Iowa here on Black Friday. The Heroes game on the line again here today. The Huskers will try and peel themselves off the mat after a deflating loss in Madison in overtime a week ago, and they'll send 24 seniors out one final time here at Memorial Stadium. Good morning. Welcome to another Dakota Mac Husker Game Day show here on the Huskers Radio Network. Ben McLaughlin joined, as always, by Nebraska color analyst, 2-time national champion Damon Benning. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. Hopefully everybody had a nice, safe day, enjoyed with family, food, football, and around the loved ones. And for those dealing with some adverse situations or some tough times, sending peace and love your way to get through the holidays. So with that, we will begin our show today. Damon, this was a really interesting show to me to kind of dive into because I think there's a lot of angles here with this one. I think first and foremost, the feeling that hasn't left my stomach since leaving the press box in Madison, that was a tough one to get through and get over for sure. And I think from more of the emotional side for me, that was one of the tougher ones to swallow. Being the Badgers, being a place that has been a house of horrors for the Big Red since we've joined the league, and really feeling like you had a real opportunity to steal that one late, and unfortunately didn't go your way. Senior Day, the last regular season game, potentially the last game under year number 1 of Coach Rule, and then of course the elephant in the room, the Iowa Hawkeyes here today as well. So I think there's a lot of things to think about when you think about this game. But first and foremost, I guess where are you at coming into this one with? It's just been kind of a crazy week for you, even a crazier week than most, but a short week nonetheless to try and get off the deck for another big one.
Yeah, I think for me, probably going home, whatever that was, Saturday night, was a little tougher than, like, let's say going home Saturday afternoon after Maryland. For whatever the reason, I felt like Nebraska should have probably won the game more in Madison, but could have won it more against Maryland. So I was just trying to rationalize that in my mind, and I think the interesting thing all week was just getting inside the mind of the Wise, kind of, you know, what they were really wanting to accomplish in that last quarter, what happened in those middle quarters, how a team that only had, 3 per from their running back, Braylon Allen, find a way, was Mordecai really that guy? There were lots of questions. But I landed on, and this came to me about probably Monday night, driving home late from Lincoln about the rest of the week. I thought to myself, everything that Nebraska talks about culturally is on Friday. The going the 1-0, the 24-hour rule, the opportunity to go to a bowl game. It's Iowa. So you don't say okay, now we got to win 1 out of the last 4. We have to win 1 out of the last 3. Or, we got Wisconsin and Iowa looming, or going like this is it. You have a legitimate one-game scenario where all those things are in play. It's Iowa, it's for a bowl game, and you need to go 1-0, right? So the culmination, I think, will dial these guys in. I'm telling you, I've liked Nebraska all week. I think they'll play extremely hard. I think this is a game that is tailor-made to them, especially if you're kind of in your feels a little bit. You have to wake up in a hurry. It is a cold, windy, late November game, and it's an early kick, and I think it's tailor-made because of the opponent.
I drove up from Omaha this morning in dead silence in my car, and I was trying to...
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't play any music for about 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I just started racking my brain of how we got here from our first show in Minneapolis on a Thursday night to now, how interesting of a season it's been. You think about that first game with Minnesota, and again, feeling like you had it, within your grasp to win that one. The disappointment in Boulder, and then all of the questions wondering, are we truly that far away as a team? Are we that far away from competing? And then you kind of fast forward a bit, you do your thing, and you fast forward to October, right? Team goes undefeated in the month of October for the first time in a long time. You've got a handful of games left on your schedule, 4 of them, in fact, that you feel relatively solid. You're either going to win or be in the games at the end, and unfortunately you lose 3 straight. And the way that Nebraska's lost them, right? The East Lansing game against Michigan State, the home game against Maryland, and last week with Wisconsin, the way that those games have ended. And now we kind of feel a completely different end of the coin. To get us to where we are today, which, could potentially be the finish line. All that being said, something that I kept asking myself in the car that I'm going to ask you right now is, if I told you before the season started, before we got onto the plane to go to Minneapolis, this was going to be the scenario, knowing everything that you knew about the team coming into the year, would you have taken it? And I feel like we didn't know a lot about what Nebraska's opponents were going to look like, so there was so much uncertainty. And I think throughout the course of the 12 weeks, we've learned a lot about what the Big Ten West was all about this year. But I don't know that the ambitions were high enough to come out and say that Nebraska is way off of where we thought they were going to be. And I think that's led me to believe that kind of that fresh reset today of each season is a chapter book. We're getting towards the end of the book here, but there still is potential for this thing to end the right way.
Yeah, I'd be curious. There's a lot in there. It seems like Coach Rule would intimate that they're ahead of schedule. I truly believe, this is record aside, I think he thinks that they are ahead of schedule. Now, having said that, I'm with you on the one-game scenario. Was that game show where you can take what's in the box or –
Deal or no deal?
Yeah, deal or no deal. I think if you said, hey, you got a one-game scenario in November for Nebraska to get bowl eligible, would you take that? I'm guessing you probably would have, right? 6-5, because a lot of people pick that as the record anyway, or 6-6. A lot of people pick that as the record anyway, right? Right there in the middle, safe. The problem is our expectations changed along the way. We saw what we were capable of, and then we were upset about it. So, and that's natural, right? Once you figure out kind of where you're at and what you're in control of, and it's okay for expectations to be fluid, because I think there has to be some self-actualization in there, right, or realization. So I think we allowed ourselves to think like, oh, this is really possible. But I don't know if at any point did we think we were really good, right? I think there's a difference from having the ability to win games versus what the perception was of being a good football team. I don't really know. You know what I mean? I'm kind of thinking out loud. Do we think that we were a good football team, or did we just think we were better than the rest of what we were playing?
See, that's a really good question, because I think that directly brings in the conversation of where we've been, particularly under Coach Frost, which was so close, yet had the inability to win close games late. And we won 3 in a row that way. And you're thinking, okay, like, 1, okay, this is nice. 2, maybe we're onto something. And 3 is like, do we have the recipe, right?
Yeah,
it's like, especially when you think about it this way, as a fan base that's just been starving for success for as long as we have, and the door has been presumably shut on us as a program, it seemed like you could see a beam of light with that door opened after the 3-game winning streak in October, which I think is making this week so difficult, because it almost seems like all of our apathy of the last 10 years has been shrunk down to the last month, right? It's like, yeah, we had the 90s, we had the early 2000s, we had the run under Bo where you're making Big Ten championship games. And then the last so-and-so years have happened. And you think about that in the 15-year window, it seems like that 15-year window has been shrunk down to about 6 weeks in this season altogether.
Like
so you're in your feeling. I mean, you're riding the absolute roller coaster, and it almost feels like we're right back to where we started coming into the year.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think the thing with this football team and kind of where they're at is, for all the warts and year ones and culture building and whatever, right? I think I've landed on the fact that this team can win with 2 of the 3 phases of football intact. If they get good special teams and good enough offense, then the defense can have an off day. If they're getting good defensive play and good special teams, then the offense, this is probably more who they really are, then the offense can kind of sputter along. They could even have, good enough offense and good defense and have the special teams kind of struggle and be okay. But what this team is not afforded the luxury of is they can't go 1 out of 3. You can't just have one facet playing well and have that be enough. And so for all the doom and gloom we've kind of cast sometimes when we get ready to take the field this season, they've still been in control of a lot of the outcomes, right? If the kicking game was just a little bit different, or if you make 3 more tackles, or if you get 2 more first downs, or just 1 more catch. So when you say the whole close, I do believe it in these scenarios they are close because they've been in more control late. And I think that's really all you can ask for. Now, you still have to find a way to execute, but at least it's not out of your hands, right? Like, gosh, if we just could have got one more stop, okay, one more first down, right? I think you kind of feel better about the direction. Now you're looking for some tweaks.
And I think, that's what makes today's matchup so interesting, because what you're talking about right there, I think is true. I would agree wholeheartedly that if you tell us before each game Nebraska is going to be better than their opponent in 2 of the 3 areas, and we're not even asking for the third, I think from what the caliber of football we've seen, we would take that.
Yeah. Well, we'd be the team that we're playing today, right?
Exactly. That's my point. Is we're here with the wheels spinning, not knowing what 2 of those 3 phases are going to excel that particular day. We've seen all be good. We've seen all be bad. We've all seen all be somewhere in the middle. The team we're playing today is always good in 2 of the 3 areas.
100%.
Always. And the same, too. They know exactly what they are. It's constant. It's reliable. It's why they're a 9-win team. It's why they've won the West 3 times in the last 7-8 years. It's how they've got to where. That's the difference between being a 9-win team and being where Nebraska is because of that. And I hate using that word identity, but it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm struggling to find another word for it. But they know exactly what type of football they're going to get in that other locker room.
I think you're spot on. I remember talking to Tom Kakert and even Doctorman before the season started. And I said to both of them respectively, I said, how do you stay away from falling in love with 3 yards, punt the ball, have good field position, play good defense, then, flip the field after doing that twice, where on offense you play that way. Like, you play it safe knowing that you have that in the bag. And to a man, they both said, well, you do play that way. You don't fight that. And I thought that was interesting before the season even started, that you would just resign yourself to, okay, the offense it's just not going to be very good. We'll concede that. And we'll continue to develop our defense and our special teams, and we're going to win games. And it's funny because they have the opportunity for all the jokes. You get rid of your offensive coordinator going out into next year, or all the scuttlebutt. They have a chance to win 10 games. And it's because they can rest squarely on the fact and say, almost with some sort of badge, it's a badge of honor, right? This is who we are. We do it better than anybody in college football, because in essence they do.
Well, and think about their last game with Illinois, DB. I mean, there are a lot of teams around college football that would be in a situation like that, play as poorly as they played, and still be like, yeah, whatever, we're still going to win. I mean, Greg Sharp even made the comment right before it happened, doesn't matter, they're going to pop a big run here and score anyway.
He did. He just deadpan straight face. Yeah,
I think it was the next snap. And the thing about it is,
Caleb breaks free. Yeah.
Not only did he know it, I knew it, you knew it, and more importantly, everybody in black and gold knew it. Yeah. So it's just like, where we got up here watching last year's game on here in the studio, and it's just like, I remember sitting in the press box and we're all looking around going, well, I think I know how this ends, and it's not well. And it's fortunate there wasn't another 6 minutes on the game clock, because we probably would have felt that way. It still felt like, with Nebraska being up 24-7 midway through the fourth quarter, that Iowa felt like they were going to win the game.
I know. It's almost like they ran out of opportunities, right? You and I are kind of looking at each other, and it's like, well, if this goes on a little bit longer, Iowa's going to find a way. Nebraska got the big stop late, and you could finally exhale. But, I just think that's like, that's it. That is exactly. Nebraska has to get to a place where they expect to win those games versus you just got that sinking pit in your stomach. We're not going to win these games, because ultimately it's been the latter that's been dominant. And the team that we're playing today across, they don't care how those first 59 minutes go. It can look however it wants to, but there's a couple of constants. Just give us a chance at it late, and we'll figure it out. And it's been unbelievable. And I think it's just understanding who you are and accepting it, And then how do you kind of accentuate that so it plays out every week?
Yeah, I mean, they just look for one play to kind of pop the seal late to go.
They always get that one good run, don't they?
Or a block punt like 2 years ago. There's always a play where they're just like, yep, all right, that was it, and now we go. Very, very interesting conversation around the differences between these two teams. One thing I do want to hit on here in this first segment, too, is where Nebraska is physically. I mean, this was a huge concern of yours and mine immediately following the game with Wisconsin. That was a very physical football game in Madison. There were a lot of ice bags on that plane when we were getting on there. And,
extremely quiet.
And a lot of wondering, okay, not only do you have to get up for another football game, you have to do it in a shorter amount of time. And I think that was concern number one for me. It wasn't the opponent, wasn't getting bowl eligible, wasn't getting over the loss. It was finding a way to get yourself to a point where you can compete in another phone booth today for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Where do you think the team's at right now in terms of just the recovery process and getting themselves ready to go?
Well, thank goodness we have a coaching staff that is really big on recovery. You know, that Sunday schedule with the red and black units, when the other wasn't lifting, the other was going through recovery, and then they would flip-flop. And I think it's really important to this staff, whether it's from a nutritional standpoint or what they're utilizing in the new locker room and facilities about recovery. But the good thing about this football team, the way this game is going to be played today, is they have multiple players, I think, ready and on standby that want to play a rock'em sock'em game. It'd be a little bit different at this stage of the season, I think, if this was about scheme and being able to get lined up right and multiple looks and formations, and that may be a little tough, right? Because you're like, oh, we've got to get some new guys ready. One thing I do think that comes natural to this football team is tightening up the chin straps, because that's how they practice. So they'll be accustomed. Now, Iowa's a different breed, obviously, because it's an opponent that has been this way for years, right? So their evolution is a little bit higher in terms of how they want to play it, but Nebraska's very capable of playing that way with new bodies, and they're going to need a few. They're going to have some depth along the D-line. You're going to have a couple of guys step up on the back end. Offensively, you're going to have to manufacture some ways to move the football. And I think that's okay, because the way that they want to play and who they're going to have to do it with, it may force you to be patient. And I think patience is what this team needs, especially down the stretch. Just take some deep breaths and be patient, because the game will naturally unfold this way. There won't be those moments, in my opinion, where you're allowed to get too high emotionally or too low. It will be a steady slugfest, and I think that's kind of built for where this team is emotionally.
Just ask Vegas, right? 24 and a half points.
Isn't that amazing?
It just suggests exactly what you're saying, that, a big play in this game might be a 30-yard punt.
Yeah.
It might be a
third
and one stop.
Right. It's one of the few weeks in which offensively, when you're doing your team in situational football, hey, we've got the ball on the 3. We'll have to punt from inside our own 5. We don't have the full 15 yards. Give me the punt team. Or a sequential play calling where you get a first down just enough to get your punt team on. Like, I think those are things that you work on. You should all the time, but in particular, specifically in a week like this, because it's going to happen. Taylor will pin you inside the 10 at least 2 or 3 times a game. It gets you inside the 5 a couple too. So where are we with that? And then conversely, if you're Nebraska, you're thinking, okay, Buschini, you've had your season has kind of gone in quarters, right? You were okay early, you were really good in the middle, and now it hasn't been very good late. Who will you be today? This won't so much be about the return game, except when to field a punt and when not to, because that's going to be a thing. This will be every time Nebraska's foot hits a football, what's the outcome?
Highlight the importance of the little things. I don't know that that's the last time you're going to hear that today throughout the broadcast. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers to recognize outstanding educators in Nebraska. If there's a teacher that makes your community great, Find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers. Selected teachers will win a spring game VIP experience and classroom visit from Herbie Husker. We're off and rolling here on the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. He's Damon Benning. I'm Ben McLaughlin. Have you for the next 2 hours before we tee up for countdown to kickoff. Nebraska and Iowa, the Heroes game, rivalry on a Black Friday. What way would you rather have it here, folks? We're off and rolling. Plenty more of the show coming up after the timeout.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
I learned a lot of sayings from my dad. One of them was, do one thing, do it better than anyone else. At Dakota Mac, that one thing is ag financing. If you're considering expanding your ag operation, restructuring debt, purchasing equipment, or needing a line of credit, call Dakota Mac. We'll be happy to walk you through all your options.
Hi, it's Caleb Hopkins from Dakota Mac. Call me at 515-314-7066 to learn how Dakota Mac products can work for you.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also has over 20 grams of protein per serving, is gluten-free, and is made with real beef and chicken. Enjoy sandwiches, enchiladas, stir-fry, quality sirloin, chicken, and corned beef ready in minutes. Simply sizzle, flip, and savor.
I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it.
Visit our website to find a store near you.
John Henry's Plumbing.
If your furnace could have roamed with the dinosaurs and is a Furnasaurus, listen up. John Henry's is giving away a new furnace completely free. To enter, go to jhlincoln.com right now and enter to win. If you think yours is the oldest furnace in town, enter by November 26th at jhlincoln.com or give
John Henry's
a call today.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
A bag of corn is, well, a bag of corn, unless it's a bag of Pioneer brand Chrome seed corn. Then you're dealing with the most optimized yield potential, agronomic performance, and insect protection the Pioneer lineup has to offer. A bag that will make life easier for you, 8 bushels per acre easier, and much harder for rootworms than the competition. Pioneer brand Chrome products, field proven and ready for yours. Visit pioneer.com/plantchrome.
Shop smarter online for your next vehicle with Buy Now from Woodhouse. Car buying 100% online from your local trusted auto partner. Easily compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected cars, trucks, and SUVs features, capabilities, and payments. Conveniently apply for financing and complete your paperwork for purchase 100% online, anytime from anywhere. Plus, we'll deliver it to your driveway. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
My McDonald's rewards have arrived at McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app and earn points. The more you spend, the more points you get, the more you can redeem for free McDonald's food. This is the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show here on the Huskers Radio Network. Ben McLaughlin joined by color analyst Damon Benning. Damon, I have here to chat about here in this segment the measuring of progress. And to me, this was highlighted, I think, in two areas. One, for those that have listened to this show for now 12 games, they've heard us talk about week after week, that day-by-day mentality of just showing that steady improvement. And this hasn't changed since the first time, since before the first time the Huskers took the field against the Gophers. And I think you have to pair that with what Coach Rule was talking about this week at his press conference, when you alluded to it a little bit earlier in the show, when he was talking about, I think our record, I'm mad at our record, right? I'm really mad at the way that this is shaped up, and I'm mad that, we're not where we think we should be with the record. But when you peel back the onion within our walls, to see the progress that they've made, I think he would take that. He would accept that. And I think that's a hard tightrope to walk, because ultimately fans care about the results. This is a results-oriented business. But I think, to get that result, you have to kind of lay that base layer. And now being 11, potentially the end, depending on the result today, where are you come down on the day-by-day process that you and I have been talking about all year, with it being almost over and turning the page to you?
Yeah, see, that's why I think that right there is why I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule. Because it's not, we complain about a lot of things, right? But this one isn't really about the X's and O's or the play calling, or, should we have not been doing so many twists and stunts with a running. It's not about any of that. This is about the ability to flip a culture psyche. Because you described it in the first segment, right? It's like, it seems like it's been about 15 years of this year. Right? So it's a mindset. So you have to have been there enough to know what it's like to grind and feel comfortable about coming out of the back end regardless of the way it looks. The team they're playing is a perfect example of that. See, they've done it so long, they're accustomed to it. Nebraska's done it for a while, and it hasn't yielded results. So you still kind of have that losing mentality. But it's coming because they keep fighting. See, they're better emotionally than maybe they have been in some years, where they can line it up and play it again. And they're willing to line it up and play it again. See, that's progress. There is no tail tucking. There is no woe is me. There is no here we go again. This is, hey, let's line it up and play. And see, you can hurt like we saw leaving Madison. I mean, that team was hurt physically, but more emotionally, right? Where they're just like, yeah, we lay it on the line all the time, and it hasn't generated what we. Oh, but wait a minute, we got a one-game scenario coming up here in 6 days. When just go 1-0. That's what we talk about, right? This is the practical application of it. Oh, that's cool. Oh, wait a minute, it's Iowa. They don't think very much of us. We can gear up for this game. So then it all starts. That's where they're better, where they can recalibrate, redial, and buy in, right? Where it's not so much about, yeah, we don't like Iowa, and it is about them. It's more like, hey, because you're lining up with me and playing behind me, I got your back. That's really what's turned the corner with this football team and this culture. That's why I think they've made progress.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think, what you're saying and what I'm about to say in its simplest terms is the psychology of it works both ways. As hurt as you were with the Badgers, right, and the way that ended, the psychology works the other way too when you see a Tiger Hawk logo, right? I mean, it hurts, but at the same time, if you look to your left, it hurts. If you look to your right, you're motivated. You can feel both at the same time.
It's the greatest. It's the quickest recalibration ever, right? It's like, whoop, back dialed in, another crack at it. You mean we get to play a way that you've taught us to play all year, with toughness at the line of scrimmage? We get to play like that again? Okay, let's line up and play it. You get the bad weather you always harp on? Yeah, let's do it. We get to do it at home? Oh, cool, let's do it. We get to honor the 24, 25 guys that'll walk today that you've talked about all year long since you've been here, how you couldn't have done anything without their senior leadership. Oh, we get to make that a thing today? Let's do it. Like, those are the things that I'm talking about that I think can be the great equalizer in a game like this, even though Nebraska's pretty beat up.
Yeah, I think the word you used, recalibrate, is a perfect word for this week, particularly early. Maybe we're all past that now. It's game day now. It's time to get the juices going and put on your jersey and represent yourself, your family, and your university. That's all taken care of. This is more so, I think, earlier in the week to kind of get yourself to where you can get prepared and match their intensity, those kinds of things. Now, when we talk about progress,
you want to know how how they've turned the corner emotionally with culture. You get guys like Nash and Ty Robinson saying what they said about next year.
Yeah,
right. Like, that's how you know. It'd be easy to go chase, and I've been through this. I'm ready to go. No, it's like, this is pretty cool. I want to be around this. I'm better for being here going through this. That's how you know that they're making progress. There aren't the surprise jumping shit. Like he said, Ty said it early.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Ruquan Buckley is mentioned to go to the offensive side of the ball. If you get inside that lets me know that the game plan going forward and the foundation for the concrete, not only is it being poured, it's already settling when you have guys that are willing to hang in there, do something different for the greater good, and it's down the road.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm telling you? Like,
that's the important part, down the road.
That's huge, because that means you're looking forward to growth. You're not staying where you're at. You're looking forward to growth, right? It's I don't know. I look for those two. Maybe I hear what I want to hear, but I'm just telling you, I think those are telltale signs that concrete is being poured correctly.
Well, and think about it this way: in a day and age in college athletics, and the old, fight or flight mentality.
Oh, good one.
Everyone's flighting. There's no such thing as patience. The grass is always greener. I'm going to go to a place where I'm going to play. I'm going to go to a place that's going to win. I'm going to go to a place that's going to do this for me, where I don't feel like my cup's being filled, and I'm not going to fill it myself here. I'm expecting somebody else to fill it for me someplace else. To have that vision, I think, it's the mature way of thinking that it's hard to find anymore.
Yeah, you're kind of rolling now, because it's in my wheelhouse. You're talking about it's preventative measures. And what Nebraska's building, it started in the athletic department with Trev and the family structure, diversifying the staff, listening to the students' needs. This is across the board. This isn't just a football thing. Hey, what can we do better? How can we better accommodate the student-athletes' needs? Then you go out and you hire a staff like Coach Rule, who is about consistency and continuity, and they're like-minded in terms of, we want this to be an attractive place for people to come to grow young people. And you want to make it hard to leave. So the more family it is and the more like-minded you can be, the harder it is to go someplace else. That's a preventative measure to beat things like the transfer portal. If you're here and you see what we're about, how we want to take care of you, what the amenities are, how we actually are investing in you as young people, whether it's mental health, whether it's rest and recovery, whether it's the student support, all those things, we want to make this a place where you look around and you say, you know what? I've got it pretty good. This is a good spot. And I'm getting better. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for me to leave. That wasn't all willy-nilly.
Yeah.
That was thought about as they're putting this thing together. We need to make this a place that is a lot like a home. It's very hard to leave home sometimes when you know that you've got it good.
And to further that point one step further, when you do that, it puts the responsibility on oneself. all these resources are being provided for me. If I don't like to my situation, what do I need to do
100%.
to better it?
So that's where Coach Rule's philosophy comes in. Caring, not coddling. Grooming young men. Being better in all facets of your life. Putting your hands up and learning to fight back. Saying nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Be a self-starter. Take some self-inventory. Like all those things, that's life. And when you pit that against, he's going to tell you, listen, it would be easy to fall in love with this place and call it, he said, this isn't Disneyland. We're here to do work. We have some good things and some pretty cool rides, but this isn't Disneyland. To be here, you're going to have to work and show incremental progress emotionally and physically. But if you do that, boy, will we meet you more than halfway.
Do all of that with the understanding that my assistant coaches are out recruiting guys to replace you. I'm going to find somebody that's better than you.
The great equalizer, right?
So you got to work with some urgency. Work with the fact that if you're steady Eddie and not doing anything and you're playing around Fortnite or whatever it is,
find something else different to do.
Someone else is going to come in here and steal your spot.
My dad used to tell me the only thing that grows under still feet is dead grass.
That's exactly right. I got to steal that from Mr. Benning. That's a good one. But I think all this stuff is really important to analyze, because what we're talking about, it makes games like today and that psychological process from Wisconsin easier to deal with when you know the guy lining up to your left and to your right is in the exact same headspace as you are, and you don't got to worry about this dude coming out here and trying to, get out of his assignment to make an interception to go to the next level. He's going to be where he needs to be. I trust him. He trusts me. Let's go win a football game. I think, all this stuff feeds into that. And it's impossible to have the result without the stuff to back it up. Yeah. And I think the stuff to back it up is everything that we've just laid out.
Yeah, I was just talking with a good buddy this week about a multitude of things about where Nebraska is, and I think he hit the nail on the head. Because he was talking about, scheme versus kind of culture and the growth and how it's more about kind of laying the foundation than it is really about X's and O's. And he kind of closed with, the type of players that they're looking for. This would be the perfect coach to want to go out and actively seek winners. Players that come from programs or where they're accustomed to winning, because that's kind of the quickest way to offset a losing mentality is to surround yourself with winners, especially when you're trying to infuse it as a staff, because it's all they talk about, right? It's compete, give yourself a chance, Like, that's all you can ask for is a chance. See, winners will take it to the next level because they'll think to themselves, I hate losing way more than I love winning. That's just how they think. So the more that you can incorporate that, I'm telling you, you give yourself a chance to get over that emotional hump, because then you don't have to babysit the program. You get to lead the program.
Yeah, and then watch them work when it's time to go. The 1890 Initiative, helping Husker athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. We're off and rolling here on the Dakota Mac Husker Game Day Show. We are about a little over 3 hours from kickoff here at Memorial Stadium. We've got to remind you, hands on the wheel, head in the game. The driver has one job to drive. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We welcome into the broadcast for the first time today our friend to check the traffic, Trooper Dave.
Hey, good morning, Ben and Damon. If you're listening at home or haven't left your driveways yet, go back and get some more blankets or warm clothes. We're looking at a balmy 26 degrees at kickoff with a lovely north wind that will push the wind chill into single digits. Added to that is all the holiday shoppers out in full force, and traffic will be very heavy today. If you're out in West Omaha, avoid Gretna like your in-laws. Take West Center Road out to Wahoo and take 77 south to I-80. If you're heading through Gretna, take 370 over to the 439 on-ramp and get on 80 from there. Highway 6 to the Outlet Mall will be extremely busy. I-80 from Gretna is still moving well after you get past the 432 on-ramp. Highway 14 through Nelson is seeing normal game day traffic. 77 north from Beatrice is normal up to Van Dorn. I-80 eastbound still looks good from York up to the 395, and I-180 into downtown for now is still free-flowing. I don't think we'll see the normal amount of tailgating in this weather this morning. Fans, if you're drinking and driving today, make sure to bring your bail money. Drunk driving never pays. This has been Trooper Dave with the Nebraska State Patrol Traffic Report on the Huskers Radio Network.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
It's being well supported by a provider who understands your health interests and goals. It's ensuring you are well connected to a team of caregivers and specialists. It's feeling well cared for by having someone you can turn to who sees you for you. That's the power of being well matched. And that's exactly what CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match does. Meet the provider who is right for you at myprovidermatch.com.
Pioneer is proud to partner with Iowa and Nebraska in the Pioneer Heroes game on November 24th. This coveted trophy game is about more than winning. It's about those in our local community who inspire us in our everyday lives. From the school bus driver to the volunteer firefighter, there are those that make a difference and, simply put, make our lives better. Every community has their heroes, and Pioneer is proud to honor those who stand as an inspiration to others in the Pioneer Heroes game.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
This is the sound of a Husker game day. This is the sound of the opposing quarterback getting sacked on game day. This is the sound of someone enjoying a Big Mac. And this is the sound of that same someone getting another Big Mac for free.
All right!
Because the Monday after the Huskers get a sack, Big Mac is buy one, get one free at McDonald's. To review, this is what happens on game day. This is what happens on Monday. This fan is really happy.
All right!
And this is what the lawyers made us say. A la carte only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
SeatGeek's the ticketing app for fans like the sideline shot caller.
Come on, boys! Pick up the pace!
SeatGeek got him a great deal on seats right near the action, so when he yells,
"What are you doing? Block him!"
he can be absolutely sure the players heard him. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back into Husker Game Day. I'm Jessica Cootie. It's time now for our Cornhusker conversation. This week, I got a chance to sit down with offensive lineman Nuri Nwili. Nuri, one of the seniors that will be honored today, playing his final game inside Memorial Stadium. And it's not just going to be a special day for Nuri, but for his entire family. Here's my conversation with Nuri Nwili.
All right, well, senior day, can you believe it?
It's a little crazy to think about, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm ready for it.
I want to dive into all of that with you, but let's start with the team and coming off last week and just this week. How has the team stayed together? What's the approach this week been like?
You know, all of us have the same mentality of like, you know, one more to get one more, and that's kind of how it is. You know, like obviously last week sucked. It sucked for everybody. It was sad for everybody, but like you kind of notice a different feeling. It's like, you know, everybody wants it. Like it's not like a mix of like, oh, we want to be done. No, it's like everybody wants this one. Especially it's Iowa too. Like
yeah.
you never want Iowa to win. So, but obviously it's a rivalry. It's for us to be able to get to a bowl game, and it's going to be a good game just based off the fact because they want to ruin our season. They want to cut us short, and we want to get one more. So.
You know, despite the outcome, there were some really bright spots for the offense. How much can you guys build off of what you guys did last week?
It's just, you know, what's next. Chubba played his butt off. We all tried our best to like play our butt off. You know, I personally had some mistakes here and there, and you know, everybody has some mistakes here and there. But at the end of the day, you know, you just want to kind of like build off of that, like you said, and you know, you just want to do better than what you did last week, and if we just do that, I think it'll be a really good game.
For the offensive line and just everything that this group has been through, how proud are you of the way, the progress, and how this group is stuck together and where you're playing at right now?
You know, as offensive line, obviously, you know, throughout the season, you're supposed to get better, and we've gotten, exactly like you said, we've gotten better and better and better each game, and you know, having those injuries happen here and there, they suck. Obviously, with Piper being out, he's my best friend, so it hurts me personally to see him like that, you know, because he's such a positive guy. But you know, Turner too, having him out, knowing that like he can't play the rest of the season, it sucks. But as an offensive line, you know, at some point something's going to happen. There always is some kind of injury. You know, people are playing with lingering injuries. I mean, I played after surgery. Ben's playing with some lingering stuff. Like everybody has something going on. But at some point, you know, you notice who's like fully bought in. You know, if that makes sense. You know, because it's not like I think I said this before. It's not a drop off between the people that are out and the next man up. You know, because Justin's been playing his butt off too. Teddy came in and immediately played the same way. So at the end of the day, we're such a close unit that it doesn't matter how it happens, what happens, who you're playing with. At the end of the day, you'll play your best because you know you have full trust in the men to your right and your left.
You mentioned having surgery and coming back, and you did it in a week. Why was that important to you to push that and to be back in that sort of time? I
tried to come back for Purdue. I was ready to go. I had full range of motion less than 24 hours after surgery. I was, you know, trying to get back. And the biggest reason for that is like I felt like I was letting my team down. I felt like I was hurting the team, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, it's my last season. You know, like I don't want to miss anything. And I didn't want to necessarily get surgery, but I knew that I was not going to be able to play at my full potential, if that makes sense. And I noticed it during this Northwestern game because it happened in the first quarter. You know, I noticed myself slacking throughout the rest of the game and like kind of like losing my footing here and there where I was like, I can't step on it. But, you know, like having the support by them, knowing that like Teddy and Ben and Henry and Bryce and Pipe and all of them saying like, hey, chill out, you'll be fine, like you'll come back. But you know, I knew I just wanted to come back as quick as I could, and having had the chance to come back on that next week was what I wanted to do, and I did.
Coach Raiola just seems to be a guy that you guys really love and appreciate. What has he meant to you over these last couple of years?
I mean, having him come in and take us over pretty much and instill this whole new mindset and mentality in us to like do everything together and like be a unit, you know? It meant a lot to me because personally I'm not great with coaches that don't like tell me what's wrong. And he's one of those guys that like if you mess up, he'll let you know. And I've had many conversations with Coach Raiola. I've had, you know, many outside of football conversations with Coach Raiola, and he's done a lot for me, just in the fact that he was present at times that I really needed it. And I've really noticed that with him, with other people too, that like it doesn't matter what happens on the field. Obviously, like I said, he's going to let you know what those mistakes are, but as soon as you get off the field, into the meeting room, he'll show you what was wrong, and he'll make sure that you don't have that same issue again. You know, like if you have to work on it, he'll be out there working on it with you. You know, so it's him having been our coach the past 2 years is something that I can be extremely proud of because he works his butt off, and we notice it, and we want to work our butt off for him as well.
Your story's been told about, you know, missing last year and how much that killed you to not be out and all of that. But how much have you appreciated this season, being that you went through what you went through a year ago?
A lot. That's another reason why I wanted to come back quickly too, is because I don't like standing on the sideline. I don't. It sucks knowing that you can do something about it. You can help out. You can help the team. You can help the people around you. You can, and obviously there was other ways to help the team as well, like being you know, quote unquote a coach, or making sure that you know you see things that other people like can't really see because they're focused on the game. But it made me appreciate this a lot more. Having not played last season, it was hard all around for me, for my family. Having seen my family being at the game, but like they weren't able to watch me play, it was hard, and it makes you appreciate it a lot more.
So going into senior day, going to be an extra special day for your family. Your jersey's going to look a little bit different on Saturday. Tell us about that.
I'm going to be wearing my stepdad's last name for senior day. He has no clue. I told my mom, you know, just so she knows, so she has a little pre-excitement, if that makes sense. But you know, he's been my dad since I was 10, and we've had our rough times for sure. You know, you're always like that rebellious kid that doesn't want to listen, you know. But through good and bad, he's been there, and he's made sure that I was okay. And even when we were having our fights, he was at least there. He was present. He was there to make sure that I was okay. And I didn't have that. So I've never had really the chance to prove it to him that he really means a lot to me. And I never really knew how to as well. But this was kind of a way that I know that he would appreciate. And you know, for him, one of the biggest things was that he always wanted a son. And obviously not having two girls as my two little sisters, having them is a blessing to his life and to me as well. But he always wanted a son. And for that moment, for me to be able to share that moment with him will be amazing.
When did the thought kind of come into your mind that this is what you wanted to do? And on senior day, all of that, take us through the process of how you got to this and what you want to do on Saturday.
Obviously, you know, over the spring when they were here, I had kind of that thought. I didn't know if that was like legal, if that was allowed, but I had thought about it. You know, I was at first I was actually even thinking like maybe changing my middle name, because I don't have a middle name, changing my middle name to his last name. But then I ended up thinking about it, and I was like, my name is already hard. It would be impossible to say my name with that as a middle name. But I, you know, kind of got into it a little bit and was thinking about it, and I can't remember who was that like kind of brought that up, that would be possible. But since the spring game, pretty much, I've had that idea in my head, and throughout, the summer, and then like going into fall camp, I had made sure that like I was keeping up with that, keeping like the equipment staff and keeping Coach Rule updated that like, is this okay? Is this allowed? And last week I sat down with Coach Rule and was like, hey, just want to make sure this is okay. And he was like, don't even worry. Like this has nothing to do with us. This is your decision. This is for you, and this is for your family. And we're support you 100%. And it shows you again who Coach Rule is as a character and as a man, to let me have that special moment with my family.
How do you think he's going to react?
There's going to be a lot of crying.
You think?
Yeah, he's a little softy sometimes. There's going to be a lot of crying.
So what's the name on the back going to say?
Regaler, or Regale. It's the German version, but in English it would be a Regaler.
What do you hope he takes away from this gesture?
Well, for one, obviously the jersey. Being a senior, I know that after the season and after the bowl game, I'll be able to keep the jerseys and stuff. And so, like, for one, being able to like give him something that will mean the world to him, where his last name is on it. Because for me, it was always important to have my last name on it, because I'm the only one in my family that has my last name. Because my mom obviously has my stepdad's last name, and my siblings have my stepdad's last name, and then my real dad has the Arabic version of my last name. So I'm the only one with that spelling of my last name. But I hope that once he sees the jersey, and because he knows that I have that, like, I'm really proud of having my last name on the back, but I hope that like he knows how much it means to me to have his last name on the back too. And so I really hope that gesture, he can see what it means for me as well. And so I'm really excited. I'm just so excited to like be able to share that moment with him.
That's incredible. Not only that, and a lot of people might take this for granted, but your family has not got to see you play much football in person. So how excited are you for them to get to be here and to see you play and play in a game here inside the stadium?
I mean, super excited. They've never been able to like see me play against another team. So it's a different environment, obviously, for them being in a soccer country. But my family has been all over the place now, having been here back and forth, having been here for the spring game. And obviously the spring game is a good game to watch, but it's not the same as a Husker Game Day. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to be excited to freeze their butts off. So.
All that being said, you transfer here and everything that you've been through. I mean, gosh, you could write a book on everything that your journey, working your way into the starting lineup, and then sitting out last year, coming back this year, all of that. What has it meant to you to wear the Husker uniform?
Everything. I haven't mentioned this to Coach Rule, but I'm like really like that man has, the fact that he kept me on the team, because he had no reason to. He had, obviously after last year, he has no reason to keep me on the team. I haven't played in a year. I haven't practiced in 6 months. The only connection I really had was Coach Viola being the only one that could vouch for me. But like that means a lot to me, that he didn't even think about it twice. Like, it was like, oh no, you're part of this team. Like, you're here. That means a lot for me. It means a lot to me because I have family here. Outside of having my own family back home in Germany, I have family here in this building at all times. I have brothers here on the team. I have father figures all over the coaches' offices, and just being able to represent Nebraska in a way that I can be proud of, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to my family. It means a lot to my host family, and I know it means a lot to everybody outside of the stadium as well. That people appreciate what this means for people. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it means everything to me. This end, Nebraska, football, the school, the stadium, the new facilities, everything. It just means a lot.
So all of that being said, how much would it mean to you to walk off this field for the last time with a win and all the things that come along with that, but just to leave walking off here with a win with this program?
You know, like I said earlier, you know, you kind of want that, you know, one more to get one more. But at the end of the day, like for me, it's not about winning or losing. It's for me, it's about making sure that I did my job because I have the faith from the people around me, if that makes sense. Of course you want to win. Of course you would, like, especially against Iowa, like you want to win. But, you know, Coach Wu says it too. It's not about winning or losing. It's about being a winner. You know, it's about doing the hard things right, doing everything right. And so I'm a little sad about it being the last time I can walk out inside and outside of Memorial Stadium. But it'd be amazing to walk off with the trophy and with the win in hands.
Sounds like you're going to do your best to try to take it all in this last time.
I have to. It's Husker Nation has this special place in my heart where I don't know how I'm going to be able to fill that up again. So I'm very excited about this last opportunity to be able to walk out of the stadium.
Thanks so much to Nuri Nawili for sitting down with us and sharing all of that with us. The Cornhusker Conversation is brought to you by Teammates Mentoring Program. Be there for a student in your local community by going to teammates.org.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska offers quality auto, farm, and home insurance that's based right here in Husker Nation. Enhance your insurance experience by keeping it local. When it comes time to file a claim, having a nearby service team and a prompt claims process makes all the difference. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent for a free, no-obligation quote. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
This is the sound of a Husker game day. This is the sound of the opposing quarterback getting sacked on game day. This is the sound of someone enjoying a Big Mac. And this is the sound of that same someone getting another Big Mac for free.
All right!
Because the Monday after the Huskers get a sack, Big Mac is buy one, get one free at McDonald's. To review, this is what happens on game day. This is what happens on Monday. This fan is really happy.
All right!
And this is what the lawyers made us say. A la carte only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Tired of worrying about what to make for dinner? Try Gary's Quick Steak. It's delicious, convenient, and easy to make in minutes as it cooks from frozen. It also has over 20 grams of protein per serving, is gluten-free, and is made with real beef and chicken. Enjoy sandwiches, enchiladas, stir-fry, quality sirloin, chicken, and corned beef ready in minutes. Simply sizzle, flip, and savor.
I promise you, if you try it, you're absolutely going to love it.
Visit our website to find a store near you.
With over 75 years of wealth management experience, Bridges Trust understands the value of tradition and legacy. They have built their reputation by helping clients achieve their objectives by providing exceptional service in investment management, trust and estate planning, philanthropic consulting, and family office services. They are in the business to provide specialized, comprehensive wealth advisory services that are in the best interest of their clients to help them grow and preserve their legacies for generations to come. Bridges Trust. Trust for generations.
Challenge. It's not something you shy from. It's a chance to up your game.
Every day brings a new challenge, but with the enhanced Channel Seed brand on your side, you can rise to it. With our top-performing seed, innovative digital tools, and expanded agronomic support, you can turn tomorrow's challenges into your next advantage. Your enhanced Channel Seed brand. Let's rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
Bananas are only 39 cents a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And 39 cents a pound is not just the price today or this week, it's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop and count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for bananas every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification on the Huskers Radio Network.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, experience the personalized difference when your insurance is kept local. Visit fmne.com to contact an agent near you. Ben McLaughlin joined by Damon Benning. Senior Day here at Memorial Stadium. Some Huskers will be going through their final home game. And for these seniors, it's been an interesting career path, to say the least, with the COVID year, the uncertainty, and obviously wrapping up their careers here today at Memorial Stadium. One of those guys who will be making the walk for the last time, but unfortunately has played his last game as a Husker, is Nick Henrich. And it was the sinking feeling that you had with him walking off the field in Madison. But, man, this poor young man just did not catch a single break, his time here at Nebraska. And your heart just breaks for him that it had to end that way.
Yeah, it kind of embodies everything that this football staff is looking for, and played against, coached against, actually coached, not played, a lot of games against Nick Henrich in his high school career. Fantastic player, and walked out to the bus with him last week, right? As we were leaving, I think we were kind of with the MASH unit. I think you had Anthony Grant and I had Nick Henrich. And it just, we're like literally breaking down some moments in the game, right? And Braylon Allen and Mordecai. He just didn't say one thing about how he was feeling personally. He just was about football and competing, and I think that's just kind of who he is.
Yeah, and it's, he's one of those glue guys. He's a single-digit guy, which I think is important, and, there's a bunch of them. Ethan Piper, not sure the status today of guys like Phelan Sanford and Anthony Grant, who have been, instrumental in getting this thing going the right way. But it's going to be a tough senior day for Matt Rule, because he's going to remember these guys. You always remember the first batch, and he's going to remember these guys for a long time, and I'm sure forever indebted for everything that they did for their program, not only themselves, but help building that culture that Damon and I have been talking about really all show long. Cornerstone Bank is committed to providing you game-changing solutions for your financial needs. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll break down today's opponent, the Iowa Hawkeyes, after the timeout.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
With over 75 years of wealth management experience, Bridges Trust understands the value of tradition and legacy. They have built their reputation by helping clients achieve their objectives by providing exceptional service in investment management, trust and estate planning, philanthropic consulting, and family office services. They are in the business to provide specialized, comprehensive wealth advisory services that are in the best interest of their clients to help them grow and preserve their legacies for generations to come. Bridges Trust. Trust for generations.
This is the sound of a Husker game day. This is the sound of the opposing quarterback getting sacked on game day. This is the sound of someone enjoying a Big Mac. And this is the sound of that same someone getting another Big Mac for free.
All right!
Because the Monday after the Huskers get a sack, Big Mac is buy one, get one free at McDonald's. To review, this is what happens on game day. This is what happens on Monday. This fan is really happy.
All right!
And this is what the lawyers made us say. A la carte only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out, and happy hour has already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
This is Big Red Football.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
This is the sound of a Husker game day. This is the sound of the opposing quarterback getting sacked on game day. This is the sound of someone enjoying a Big Mac. And this is the sound of that same someone getting another Big Mac for free.
All right!
Because the Monday after the Huskers get a sack, Big Mac is buy one, get one free at McDonald's. To review, this is what happens on game day. This is what happens on Monday. This fan is really happy.
All right!
And this is what the lawyers made us say. A la carte only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
It's being well supported by a provider who understands your health interests and goals. It's ensuring you are well connected to a team of caregivers and specialists. It's feeling well cared for by having someone you can turn to who sees you for you. That's the power of being well matched. And that's exactly what CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match does. Meet the provider who is right for you at myprovidermatch.com.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails. Dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
The Iowa Hawkeyes are in Lincoln this afternoon after clinching the Big Ten West title last weekend. They have a 9-2 overall record after picking up a close win at Kinnick Stadium last week against Illinois. They will be moving on to the Big Ten championship game next weekend against the winner of Ohio State and Michigan, but not before they play this afternoon's rivalry game against the 5-6 Huskers. The Iowa quarterback is going to be Deacon Hill. The sophomore quarterback has been successful this season at Iowa with a 5-1 record as a starter. He has really turned his level of play up in the last few weeks, including his best game of the season against Rutgers, where he went for a career-high passing day with 223 yards and a touchdown.
Caleb Brown slips free. Brown, end zone, touchdown, Iowa.
first of his career. The Wisconsin transfer quarterback has thrown 4 of his 5 touchdown passes to tight ends this season and hasn't led a very effective passing offense, to say the least. The Hawkeyes rank last in the conference in passing yards this season, but we'll see if Hill can find a way to be effective today against this Nebraska secondary.
Play action, rolling, Ostringa, touchdown Iowa!
The top runner for Iowa this season is LaShawn Williams. The junior back has nearly 700 rushing yards and holds the season-long run in the conference with an 82-yard scamper earlier this year against Wisconsin. The Chicago native only has 1 rushing touchdown this season, but has been playing well the past few weeks with over 50 rushing yards in each of the last 3 games.
Just 1 on 2nd and 1. Williams, the tailback, and a little hesitation, gets him an alley, and he is gone! Williams down the sideline! And he can score! Holman just couldn't get there. 82 yards for 6.
Another back the Hawkeyes have been effective with has been Caleb Johnson. The sophomore leads Iowa in rushing touchdowns this season, with 3 of them on the ground, and set the Iowa freshman record with 779 rushing yards last year. He has followed up his strong start to his collegiate career with a few solid performances, including last week, where he had the lone rushing touchdown in the win against Illinois.
Caleb Johnson, the running back, he's got a hole. Caleb Johnson, right side, into the end zone, touchdown, Hawkeyes!
One of the top pass catchers this year for Iowa has been Nico Ragaini. He leads the team with 34 receptions and has had at least 40 yards receiving in the last 2 games for the Hawkeyes. He has had a memorable career, as the receiver from Connecticut has the 7th most receptions in school history. We'll see if the Huskers can keep Iowa's passing game in check today with Ragaini running around the field. However, Iowa's main touchdown threats this season have been the tight ends, like Addison Ostrenga. The 6'4" tight end has done a bang-up job filling in for the injured Eric All at tight end for Iowa this season. His size and catch radius will be tough for the Huskers to manage in the red zone today.
Flags are down. Caught the back of the end zone. That's Addison Ostrenga.
Head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz, spoke to the media this week about the rivalry matchup with Nebraska.
Talking about Nebraska, first of all, just, Coach Rule's done a great job. It's basically a new staff. I think 1 holdover from previous, and they've really done a great job in a short amount of time. 5-6 right now, playing really good football. It's kind of interesting if you look at their schedule. They lost first 2 games, and, we were through a transition here. It's been a while now, but it took us about 2 years. It took them 2 games to get things going. So they lost 2 games, won 5 out of the next 6. Really looked good, and now they've lost 3 straight. But you look at it, it's 2 3-point losses last week in overtime. Ended up being a 7-point game or a touchdown game, but so they're playing really well, playing competitively and doing a hell of a job. And I think the compliments certainly to the staff, but also their players. Their players have really done a good job, and got a lot of new faces, but they also have a lot of guys that have been there, and they're playing at a really high level. So it's a real compliment to them. And for us, it's going to be another tough challenge. It's a tough venue going over there. There will be 90,000, 89,000 people there. So just looks to me like another Big Ten football game. It's going to be a tough challenge, and the team that plays that best will come out ahead, obviously.
The Iowa and Nebraska rivalry is a good one. Today will be about the Heroes Trophy, in a game where both the state of Iowa and Nebraska nominate a citizen to honor a hero from each respective state. This afternoon is the 13th consecutive year on Black Friday that the Huskers and the Hawkeyes take the field against each other, and the 54th all-time meeting between these 2 programs. Nebraska holds a 30-20-3 all-time record against Iowa, but the Hawkeyes have dominated Nebraska since the Huskers joined the Big Ten. It's been over a decade since Nebraska has beaten Iowa in Lincoln, as the last time the Huskers took a victory inside Memorial Stadium against the Hawkeyes was November 25th of 2011, where Big Red dominated in a 20-7 battle as the number 22 team in the country. With bowl eligibility on the line for the 4th straight week in a row for Coach Rule's team, we'll see if today is finally the day that the Huskers break the longest bowl drought in Power 5 football. The Huskers last appeared in a bowl game in the 2016 season, but if Coach Rule can figure out a way to break out of this 3-game losing streak, Nebraska will be on their way to a postseason bowl once again. Reporting for the Huskers Radio Network, I'm Jacob Schranz.
You, Jacob, appreciate your hard work on our opponent previews each and every week, all season long. This week's Husker Athlete of the Week, volleyball libero Lexi Rodriguez, named on Monday as the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. The two-time All-American helped the Huskers clinch their first Big Ten title since 2017. The Huskers will face number 5 Wisconsin later today in Madison. Our BMO Athlete of the Week, proud sponsors of the Huskers Radio Network, committed to helping our customers make real financial progress. To learn more, visit bmo.com. 1 of every 3 fatal crashes in Nebraska involves an alcohol-impaired driver. If you drink, don't drive. Impaired driving is deceptively dangerous. From the NDOT Highway Safety Office, let's get one more check of the traffic. Here's Trooper Dave.
Hey, thanks again, Ben. Traffic is slowly picking up. We still don't have a lot of tailgaters yet because of the weather, so it's going to be a late arriving crowd. If you're still at home, though, throw in some extra warm clothes. You can thank me later. I-80 eastbound from Milford up to the airport is still moving well. Take 77 down to Rosa Parks, and you can sneak into downtown on the south side. Highway 34 in from Seward is still free-flowing up to I-180. Highway 6 through Gretna is very busy with the mall traffic. Save yourself a headache and take 370 over to I-80. I-80 westbound out of Omaha is also picking up volume-wise. Stay to the left near the 432 exit as shoppers will be jammed up there. After that, it's free-flowing down to Waverly. You will see some slowdowns at the 27th and I-180 exit ramps. And I-180 southbound is still looking very good right now. You won't see a slowdown until you hit 9th Street. Fans, your windshield does an excellent job of keeping bugs out of your face. Your seatbelt does an excellent job of keeping your face out of your windshield. Put those seatbelts on. This has been Trooper Dave with the Nebraska State Patrol Traffic Report on the Huskers Radio Network.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Challenge. It's not something you shy from. It's a chance to up your game. Every day brings a new challenge. But with the enhanced Channel Seed brand on your side, you can rise to it. With our top-performing seed, innovative digital tools, and expanded agronomic support, you can turn tomorrow's challenges into your next advantage. Your enhanced Channel Seed brand. Let's rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com/rise. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
With over 75 years of wealth management experience, Bridges Trust understands the value of tradition and legacy. They have built their reputation by helping clients achieve their objectives by providing exceptional service in investment management, trust and estate planning, philanthropic consulting, and family office services. They are in the business to provide specialized, comprehensive wealth advisory services that are in the best interest of their clients to help them grow and preserve their legacies for generations to come. Bridges Trust. Trust for generations.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
There are a lot of rates out there, and it can be tough to find the right one. Well, let's make it easy. With FNBO's special offer CD of 5.5% APY for 3 or 7 months, you can earn more, save more, and do more. That's 5.5% annual percentage yield for 3 or 7 months with a minimum deposit of $500 and an FNBO Premier checking account. Give your savings a great big boost with the Great Big Small Bank. FNBO, member FDIC.
SeatGeek's the ticketing app for fans like the sideline shot caller.
Come on, boys, pick up the pace!
SeatGeek got him a great deal on seats right near the action, so when he yells,
"What are you doing? Block him!"
he can be absolutely sure the players heard him. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
What
Woodhouse has been delivering you confidence in car buying since 1975. And now we're giving you the convenience of doing it 100% online with Buy Now. Anytime, from anywhere, you can compare hundreds of hand-picked, safety-inspected, pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that are available to purchase completely online. Shop smarter with personalized, estimated payments on all the inventory. Apply for financing and schedule your driveway delivery all online. Woodhouse, delivering a better way to car buy online with Buy Now.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Pioneer is proud to partner with Iowa and Nebraska in the Pioneer Heroes game on November 24th. This coveted trophy game is about more than winning. It's about those in our local community who inspire us in our everyday lives. From the school bus driver to the volunteer firefighter, there are those that make a difference and, simply put, make our lives better. Every community has their heroes, and Pioneer is proud to honor those who stand as an inspiration to others in the Pioneer Heroes game.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
The Huskers are heroes, if just for one day. Hi, I'm Nate Rohr, and this is Good Times, presented by the 1890 Initiative. When Nebraska joined the Big Ten in 2011, Iowa was selected as the Huskers' annual season-ending opponent. The matchup was branded as the Heroes Game, with the Heroes Trophy awarded to the winner. Early on, Nebraska won 3 of the first 4 matchups, but then the Hawkeyes won 7 in a row, including 4 straight by 1 score. As the Huskers headed to Kinnick Stadium on November 25th, 2022, hopes were not high for Nebraska to snap the streak. NU had dropped 5 straight games, and Iowa needed only 1 more win over the Huskers to clinch a 2nd straight Big Ten West championship. But it didn't take long for this game to shock the college football world. The Hawkeyes started the game with a ball and went 3 and out. A solid Nebraska possession ended in a missed field goal. After another Iowa punt, the Huskers started their drive at their own 13. Casey Thompson took it from there.
1st and 10, Huskers at their own 13. Borkacher in motion. From the right to the left of the formation, play action. Roy in the pocket is Casey. Taking a shot deep downfield, looking for Palmer, makes a catch at the 40. He's going to go 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
Nebraska led 7-0 with 8:45 to go in the first quarter. The Huskers recovered an Iowa fumble and converted it for a field goal to push the lead to 10-0 with 3:24 remaining in the first period. The Hawkeyes' possession burned the rest of the first quarter and bled into the second. Iowa had 3rd and 9 at the NU 29 when the Blackshirts took it away from Iowa.
3rd and 9 at the Nebraska 29. Padilla rocks and has to bottle the snap and then gets hit, and the football's out. It's picked up by Garrett Nelson at the 50. Nelson down to the 40-yard line. Huskers force another turnover as Padilla fumbles the football. 44 picks it up and takes it to the Iowa 39-yard line.
After a pass interference penalty moved the ball into Iowa's red zone, Nebraska made the Hawkeyes' mistake hurt big time.
1st and 10 for the 18. Anthony Grant back in there. Wide receivers left and right. Thompson on the shotgun, gets the snap. Step throws toward the end zone. There's a man out there. Trey Palmer caught. Touchdown, Nebraska. Trey Palmer's 2nd touchdown catch of the game.
The Huskers led 17-0 with 10:51 to go until halftime. Then added a touchdown early in the 3rd quarter to push the lead to 24-0. Iowa scored 17 straight points to shrink the Huskers' lead to 7 with 6:03 to go in regulation. Teams traded possessions, and Iowa took over at its 20 with 1:05 to go. The Hawkeyes gained just 2 yards on 3 plays and faced 4th down from the 22.
If Nebraska can stop this play, they're going to snap the 7-game streak against the Hawkeyes. 2 go to the right, 1 to the near side. The wing is to the near side on 4th and 8 from their own 22. Padilla gets the snap. Huskers do not blitz. Back to throw is Padilla. Steps, throws, passes, intercepted by Nebraska at the 36-yard line by Chris Kolarvik. coming back home to the state of Iowa for Kalarvik, a pick to end the game, and that will end the 7-year streak the Huskers have suffered at the hands of the Hawkeyes.
Nebraska won 24-17 and captured the Heroes Trophy for the first time since 2014. Thompson passed for 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. Palmer had 9 catches for 165 yards and 2 TDs. The Huskers ended the season 4-8, but denied Iowa a trip to the Big Ten championship game. Good Times is presented by the 1890 Initiative. You want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. I'm Nate Rohr, and this has been Good Times, presented by the 1890 Initiative.
Welcome back into Husker Game Day. Well, today's game, a very special game, as it's the annual Heroes Game, and we are so grateful to Pioneer for sponsoring this year's Heroes Game. And joining us to talk a little bit about that is Scott Walker, the Corn Marketing Manager for Pioneer. Scott, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Hey, good morning, Jessica. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to the conversation and more importantly, looking forward to the game later today.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a busy fall for farmers across the state of Nebraska. Harvest is wrapping up. How has it been? And overall, how has the state of Nebraska fared this harvest?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be variable depending on which farmer and which grower you talk to or which part of the state you're in. But overall, I think growers have been pleasantly surprised with the yields that they've seen. That's what we're doing right now, kind of evaluating those products from 2023, and growers are starting to make decisions on what they're going to do in 2024 for their planting plans.
Awesome. Well, tell us about the relationship between Pioneer and Nebraska and how you guys decided on sponsoring this year's Heroes Game.
Yeah, so the opportunity was presented to us last spring, I should say, and was really, when it was presented to us, it was kind of a no-brainer for us. And we're just incredibly honored to be this title sponsor for this annual rivalry between Iowa and Nebraska. When you think of these two states, it's agriculture is the number one industry in these two states. And I would guess for a lot of people in both Iowa and Nebraska, they are either directly or indirectly related to agriculture. So it really made sense for us to have our name tied to recognizing the heroes in these two states and for us to give back. And I think you saw that with our selections this year, with the vocational ag teacher from Iowa, Northwest Iowa, and the other heroic efforts of Josh Hicks, who we'll talk a little bit more about, was our selection from Nebraska.
So tell us about just the submissions, and you got to be a part of that. You had several, and how special is it to get all the submissions and to be able to read and hear about all the great acts of kindness and service that Nebraskans and people across this state do year in and year out?
Yeah, it was a really cool process with all the submissions, and I think it opened up there the end of July, and we shut it off on October 1st, and we had over 100 submissions. So wow. First of all, before we start talking about Josh and everything that he did to be our nomination for this year, I just want to say congratulations to there was over 100 other nominees. I wish we could have all 100 and recognize all 100 of them, because in their own ways, they're all heroes. So, but at the end of the day, we went through a process, and there was about 8 to 10 of us who kind of just force ranked the nominations. And we landed on Josh as our hero for the 2023 Pioneer Heroes Game.
All right, well, let's hear about Josh's story. What was it about Josh's story that you guys named him the Nebraska hero?
Yeah, I think it's in Josh. I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to hear from him himself and the story. But just to recap it, him and his daughter were driving from a softball tournament down in Wichita, Kansas, and just outside of town, they saw a van veer off the side of the road that had 5 people in it. And without knowing, he pulled over, saw 4 people on the side of the road, and found out quickly that there was still one person submerged in water in this van that ended up in a lake. And thankfully there was a few police officers nearby that helped him, but Josh didn't think twice about it and jumped in the water and was able to rescue the gentleman who was in the van, and that I think those two have created quite a bond since that moment. So super, super excited to recognize Josh today at the Heroes game.
That's amazing. And yeah, we will hear more about Josh's story. But, in terms of surrounding this football game, and it's a heated rivalry, and there's a lot on the line with this football game, but how special is it to have something like this, an element of this game where it is a feel-good story, and you're hearing about the great things that people do, the human kindness that exists in this world?
Yeah, it's the game is secondary to what these guys do and what Josh did and what Eric, the representative for the state of Iowa, does on a daily basis. So, like I said, game's just secondary, and we are just incredibly grateful to be a part of it and have our name associated with it.
Scott Walker, appreciate your time, and thanks again to Pioneer. Your great partnership means a lot, and we are so thankful for you guys again sponsoring this year's Heroes game.
Thank you, Jessica. Stay warm today.
I'm going to try my best. I'm going to layer up. All right. Again, that was Scott Walker, the current marketing manager with Pioneer. All right. Now let's hear more from our Nebraska hero, Josh Hicks, and his story out of Hickman, Nebraska. But he and his daughter were on their way to a softball tournament in Wichita, Kansas, and saw an accident and immediately went to help.
Like I said, we've been on the road for about three and a half hours. We were about 10 minutes from the hotel, and we were ready to be off the road. Getting, a little later in the early evening, and just taking the off ramp, going from one interstate to the other. Heard some tires squeal in the background behind us, and looked up in the rearview mirror and saw a van just swerve and head off the road down towards the lake. So then just kind of, oh crap. The first thing I said, and it was slam on the brakes, throw her in reverse, and fly down the interstate backwards to get to where the van left the road. And could see the van laying upside down in the water up along the bank. And then I guess my first instinct was just get out and see if everybody was all right. And then my daughter, her first instinct was, should we call 911? And it was, yes, we should call 911. So she called 911. We had no idea where we were. So I told her, I said, just look on the navigation screen on the car, and anything you can see on there, start telling the 911 operator where we are. Because you couldn't see the van from the roadway except for just a split second. So as we got down towards the van, we could see, a couple guys climbing out of the water, a couple guys on the shore. At that point, we didn't know how many passengers were in the van, if everybody was accounted for. So Deputy Harris kind of took the lead, because he could speak Spanish, asking if everybody was accounted for, where everybody was at, if there was anybody else still in the vehicle. And at that point, they said, yeah, there was still one guy in the van. So Deputy Harris and we ran right down to the water's edge and didn't hesitate and just started climbing in, trying to see if we could find him. The van was upside down in the water, kind of sitting at a pretty precarious angle, kind of at about maybe a 45-degree angle. Deputy Harris actually had a little window breaking tool on his belt, and after we'd searched all we could, he pulled that out and started breaking the windows. But at that point, we didn't know if he was still in the van. We didn't know if he got ejected and was out in the middle of the lake somewhere, sinking to the bottom. So it was pretty scary couple of minutes there. But as the windows got busted out, then we asked one of the other passengers where he was in the van, just in hopes that maybe he was still in there. And he said he was in the back seat, so that's where I started concentrating on trying to see if he was in there, and got up on the windowsill, or on the window ledge, got my chest up there and reached in as far as I could, and just reaching down and grab and hold anything I could, and three or four reaches in and got a hold of him. And yeah, when we pulled him out, he was unconscious, blue, his shoulder was shattered, and then we had to try and pull him out of the van through the window. And I mean, a lifeless body with no air, just dead weight, is real tough to manhandle through a tiny little hole. And then the window was still just shattered glass all the way around it. So every time you're pulling or pressing or trying to do anything, you're getting cuts and scrapes on yourself, trying to get him out of there. Deputy Harris, Deputy Kingery, and I, it took all three of us everything we had. The shore was 1.5 to 2 foot jagged boulders, you know, it's just a wake wall. And trying to get him up there and get him supported so that we could do CPR. Because it's not a, we didn't have a backboard, we didn't have some place to lay him down. We had to hold him up in the air, you know, on our knees just to do CPR, just to try and get some life back in him. As the deputies were doing CPR, we started seeing a few little gasps and coughs, which gave us a little reassurance that hopefully he was gonna make it and this wasn't, you know, a fruitless effort. We've met with him and the family. We actually met with them when we were still down in Wichita. We were down in Wichita for 5 days. So through Facebook, we got in touch with the family got in touch with me, and we stopped and met with the family a couple times before we left Wichita. And as we were leaving, they started taking him out of the coma, and I was still worried and nervous that he wasn't gonna be all right. But over the next couple weeks, he came to. He started singing songs with his kids, and his personality came back, and his memories came back. And then actually, after about a month, they transferred him up here to Lincoln, to Madonna, for rehab. So we've been able to meet with him several times. We would stop up there on the weekends and visit with the family and see how he was doing. And he's back home in Wichita now, back home with his family, doing well. Best outcome you could ever ask for.
Wow, what an incredible story. Thanks to Josh and his daughter for immediately going to help and saving the day there, helping to do whatever they can. Again, Josh Hicks and the Iowa hero, Nebraska hero and the Iowa hero, going to be honored during today's game. It's always such a special game, and thanks to Pioneer for sponsoring this year's Heroes game. Got to step aside here on Husker Game Day, but much more to come. Keep it right here.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
SeatGeek's the ticketing app for fans like the sideline shot caller.
Come on, boys, pick up the pace!
SeatGeek got him a great deal on seats right near the action, so when he yells,
"What are you doing? Block him!"
you can be absolutely sure the players heard him. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
This is the sound of a Husker game day. This is the sound of the opposing quarterback getting sacked on game day. This is the sound of someone enjoying a Big Mac. And this is the sound of that same someone getting another Big Mac for free.
All right!
Because the Monday after the Huskers get a sack, Big Mac is buy one, get one free at McDonald's. To review, this is what happens on game day. This is what happens on Monday. This fan is really happy.
All right!
And this is what the lawyers made us say. A la carte only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give John Henry's a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers, you ready for some SUV action? Toyota SUVs can roll their sleeves up for tight turns and twisty trails, dress up for a night out on the town, or head to the great outdoors. Take your family adventure game to a whole new level with the roomy Highlander. Make a serious splash with the rugged, revved-up RAV4. And tow all your toys in the spacious new Sequoia. Don't forget the trail-taming 4Runner and the sleek Venza Hybrid. All Toyota SUVs feature a whole suite of creature comforts to keep you and yours cozy in the cabin. Check out this legendary lineup at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
With over 75 years of wealth management experience, Bridges Trust understands the value of tradition and legacy. They have built their reputation by helping clients achieve their objectives by providing exceptional service in investment management, trust and estate planning, philanthropic consulting, and family office services. They are in the business to provide specialized, comprehensive wealth advisory services that are in the best interest of their clients to help them grow and preserve their legacies for generations to come. Bridges Trust. Trust for generations.
You're listening to Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac on the Huskers Radio Network.
This week's game changer is Chubba Purdy.
Chubba gets the shotgun snap, looking to throw. Being blitzed, rolls away from the pressure. Looking upfield, he's going to take off and run. He's got a first down to midfield. 45, Chubba to the 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska.
6'2", 210 pounds.
I challenged Chubba a lot in the spring. I challenged him in the fall. As I've said, if you go back to my statements, I thought he was having a great camp, and he got banged, he got hurt. He's gotten healthier and healthier and healthier. You certainly see the speed that he has, and he's got moxie and toughness.
Queen Creek, Arizona.
He had an unbelievable week last week of preparation, and he's continuing it this week. But, I mean, he's in there with us all day, and that's the reason I think that he played really well and knew where to go with the football. And, you know, he's able to be confident when he went into the game just because of his preparation, and that's continued into this week.
Today's game changer, Chubba Purdy, looking to back up his effort he did against the Badgers. Man, he was impressive. Those first two drives, lickety split, showed the athleticism, and it'll be interesting to see how they want him to operate today.
Yeah, almost too carefree to know any better. Like the magnitude of the moment. I mean, he was wheeling and dealing, and he hung in there down the stretch too. Got him in scoring position for the game-tying field goal too. So. Him building on week 2 will be something to watch, because I think points will be hard to come by against a really stingy defense.
I think the weather could have something to do with that today as well. Weather segment brought to you by SOS Heating and Cooling. With fair prices, honest opinions, and longer warranties, they are the Omaha area's trustworthy company since 1950. Pulling out all the tricks today, Damon. Hand warmers. You've got probably the Vaseline going on the face, the chicken broth on the sideline. Any trick you get to stay warm today is going to be utilized.
Yeah, and there's two keys. So it's not the arms or the legs, it's the hands and the feet, right? The two things that are the furthest from the heart. And so as long as those are good, most times you can function. But, you know, they've got so much technology now with the seats and the warmers, and as long as you can get off the field in a timely manner and get back to the sidelines, you should be all right.
All right, let's get into today's keys to today's performance, brought to you by Prairie Valley what's on top of mind today when you have a game that's decided by what we're assuming is going to be a slim margin? What's the emphasis today?
Well, I think number one, you have got to find a way to break even in special teams. I mean, you're going against the special teams. They're the gold standard in Iowa City, and you have to find a way to break even, especially at home. Anytime that foot hits the football, something productive has to happen.
Keys to today's performance brought to you by Prairie Valley Seeds. Grow without limits. That's going to wrap up Husker Game Day for today, potentially for the year. So we obviously have some people we have to thank for this one. Our tremendous producer, Cole Hartman. Cole, great work all year.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Keeping us in check here each and every week. Couldn't do without it. Russ Brown, obviously our brains of the operation here, putting together our montages, making sure we can communicate with one another. Jake Schrantz, who put together our opponent previews each and every week. Appreciate his hard work, as Camden Cohen as well, with our Game Changer features. And obviously have to thank our general manager, Jason Rathy, for allowing us to do this. Yeah. I have to thank you, my friend, and it's another great year, and hopefully we're talking in a warmer climate here in about a month or so.
Yeah, hopefully we've got one more in us.
That would be fantastic to have something like that. I would love to taste the warmth of the sun and the Huskers playing in a bowl game. They'll obviously have to get by Iowa today in the Heroes Trophy to do so. Need to thank Jessica for all her work on our Cornhusker conversations. Jeremiah Searles for sitting in, Tommy Armstrong as well. Thanks to all of you for listening to us each and every week, blabber on about our feelings of Husker football. Hopefully we echo some of the same thoughts and opinions as you all. Very passionate about this program, and hopefully today a good experience with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Huskers snapped the 7-game losing streak with the Hawks last year on the road. They'll look to make it 2 in a row today here at home. Just about 2 hours away from kickoff. That'll wrap us up here on the Husker Game Day Show. Coming up next, countdown to kickoff. The voice of the Huskers, Greg Sharp, has you for the next hour. It's the Huskers and the Hawkeyes from Lincoln at Memorial Stadium, and the Huskers will try and get themselves the bowl-eligible bid in Matt Rule's first year as head coach. Huskers and Hawkeyes in about 2 hours. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
This is Husker Game Day, brought to you by Dakota Mac. You're listening to Big Red Football.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back